waiting on everything around you to change. But guess what? Everything around you is going to change when you change. Your growth builds your character, but your growth also exposes the intent of other people around you. Guys.
Woo! Shalom, 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 family. I want to give call out to you. How about you? We do so in his beloved son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Don't worry, I'm going to put that on the charger. Quick class. I won't be too long before you. Man, did y'all hear that beginning message? I don't know about y'all, man. That thing really resonate with my spirit, man. The first 12 seconds of that thing, man, I said, I got to put that in the class. Nevertheless, family, we are about to go into the foundation of the chambers and the outer courts and the inner courts and the temple. Okay, the eschatological temple. Okay, I actually a while back, brother asked me a question concerning this, and man, I ended up really doing a whole class on it. I wish that was I was like, man, we should have recorded that phone call. Nevertheless, it popped into my spirit, along with other things. Y'all already know you got a lot more classes. Nevertheless, I'm going to give a brief foundation of the eschatological temple. I strongly feel once I present this presentation concerning the foundation of these things, you'll be able to read and understand different variations of the temple's construction and the things that would take place in that day in the temples and how things will be ordained and orchestrated, things of that nature. Because you're going to have the basic foundation. Now, this goes into about 6-7 chapters being talked about in Ezekiel. So I definitely would encourage brothers to read those things for themselves, especially you guys that's about to get this presentation. You're going to have a strong foundation to pretty much go off on Salakia. I also put together Salakia, a little diagram of the temple. Now, this is a rough draft, family. This is not anything definitive. This is literally a rough draft I threw together just for visual depiction. Okay. So I will reference that fact as well as I'm reading. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Salakia, last video with that announcement, man, had a lot on my mind, as we all do, as I always do. And I made a mistake with the dates on the ordainment. It's not January 1st of next year. It's June 1st of this year. My ordainment as a priest. Okay, as an elected official, as the sheriffs would say. Okay, nevertheless, let's get right into it. Okay, Ezekiel, and I'm only going to do about 10 verses. We probably just go to verse 10. I'm going to lay the foundation. And this foundation, you guys can go and build upon this and learn and Salakia and comprehend what you're reading when you read these things, because I'm laying the foundation pretty much for brothers and sisters to be able to understand when they go into the scriptures concerning the temple. Okay, without further ado, let's get straight into it. Salakia. Ezekiel chapter 40 and verse 1. In the 25th year of our captivity, in the beginning of the year, in the 10th day of the month, in the 14th year after that city was smitten, it's talking about the destruction of Jerusalem. In the selfsame day, the hand of the Lord was upon me and brought me thither. Okay, that's talking about destruction of Jerusalem. Okay, verse 2. In the visions of God brought me he into the land of Israel and set me upon a very high mountain, by which was a frame of the city of south. So this is an eschatological vision that is Ezekiel's about to have, and it's being facilitated by a celestial being. Okay, verse 3. And he brought me thither, and behold, there was a man whose appearance was like the appearance of brass, with a line of flax in his hand and a measuring reed, and he stood in the gate. Now, this also with this celestial being, this also can link up with Ezekiel 3 and the appearance of cherubims. Okay, because we know cherubims and seraphims have different appearances. Okay, this would be reference a cherubim. Okay, let's continue reading. Verse 3: the appearance of brass with the line of flax in his hand and a measuring reed, and he stood in the gate. Okay, and the man said unto me, Son of man, behold with thine eyes and hear with thine ears, and set thine heart upon all that I shall shew thee. For to intent that I might shew thee, them unto thee, art thou brought hither. Declare all that thou seest to the house of Israel. So the Most High basically is letting him know through the celestial being, through the prophets, through the angels, whatever you want to refer it to as. What I'm about to show you, you need to let Israel know. Okay. Verse 5. And behold, a wall on the outside of the house round about, and in the man's hand a measuring reed. Now, a measuring reed is about 9 feet. A measuring reed, okay, and one reed is about 6 cubits. Okay, let's continue. And behold, a wall on the outside of the house round about, in the man's hand a measuring reed of 6 cubits long by the cubit, Salakia. So a reed is 6 cubits long. Salakia. A reed is 6 cubits long. Salakia. I'm thinking about something else. So he measured the breadth of the building 1 reed, and the height 1 reed. Then came he unto the gate which looketh toward the east, and went up the stairs thereof, and measured the threshold of the gate, which was 1 reed broad, and 1 threshold of the gate, which was 1 reed broad. And every little chamber was 1 reed long. And I'm gonna go through and break down all this. We just going through it. Verse 7. And every little chamber was 1 reed long and 1 reed broad, and between the little chambers were 5 cubits. And the threshold of the gate by the porch of the gate within was 1 reed. He measured also the porch of the gate within 1 reed. Then measured the porch of the gate 8 cubits, and the post thereof 2 cubits, and the porch of the gate was inward. And the little chambers of the gate eastward were 3 on this side, and 3 on that side. There were of 1 measure, and the posts had 1 measure on the side and 1 on that side. Let's start at verse 5. Okay, let's start at verse 5. Yeah, let's start at verse 5. Okay, verse 5. And behold, a wall on the outside of the house round about, and in a man's hand a measuring reed of 6 cubits, long by the cubit, and a hand breatheth. So, hold on. So, an actual measuring reed that you use to measure other reeds is actually 9 feet. A reed is 6 cubits. Okay, and it says, in thy man's hand a measuring reed of 6 cubits long by the cubit, and a hand breatheth. So he measures the breadth of the building 1 reed, and the breadth of 1 height and 1 reed. So a hand breadth, I say breatheth or breadth, is 3 inches. So we gotta deal with math a little bit, family. First of all, a cubit, Salakia, a cubit is 18 inches and about 40 to 45 centimeters. Now I heard some brothers say 40. I heard some brothers say 45, and they say that because in ancient culture, we measured cubits different way. That's another class. But this isn't the only way we use to measure things. Some brothers just go real deep with some things. But this kind of thing it's not. You don't have to go that. It's not that serious to go that deep. Okay. No folly, family. Let's continue. So he measured the breadth of the building 1 reed, and the height 1 reed. Okay, so let's break that down. Okay, so 1 reed, 6 cubits. And then 1 reed, 6 cubits long by the cubit, and a hand breatheth. So he measured the breadth of the building 1 reed, and the height of 1 reed. So that would be about, let me see, we had to do 6 times 21, which would be 126 inches. And then we would divide 126 inches by 12. Let me write this down. And that would be 10.5 feet. Okay? 10.5 feet. Okay? Verse 6. So that would be 10.5 feet, family. Okay? And also, this shows the order in the sanctuary and the holiness with the setup, because holy means set apart, of our temple, and how precise everything the Most High did concerning our places of sacrifice and worship and ordainment and all those things were orchestrated. It's very serious. You know, I know some brothers. I know some brothers used to think that they didn't understand really why all of these measurements and things had to be so pristine. But this is going into our order and holiness and set apart. This is serious. This is where our sacrifices go be. This is where Gentiles go come bring their sacrifice. All those things. When you go to Isaiah 2:2 and talk about the age, this is really parallel with Isaiah 2:2, because this is what the nations are gonna be doing. Okay, coming up for sacrifices. In the outer courts, which is in the outer courts, the Gentiles will dwell. It's the outer courts are not conclusive of the Gentiles, but that's where they're dwell. And I'm gonna bring out a few scriptures. Okay, I don't want to get beside myself. Verse 6. Then he came unto the gate which looketh toward the east, and went upon the stairs thereof, Salakia, and measured the threshold of the gate, which was 1 reed. Now remember, 1 reed broad. Remember, 1 reed is 6 cubits. And the other threshold of the gate, which was 1 reed broad. Okay? And every little chamber was 1 reed long and 1 reed broad. And between the little chambers were 5 cubits, and the threshold of the gate by the porch of the gate within was 1 reed. So, first of all, let's get into, before we get into those measurements, let's get let me show you what those chambers were for. The chambers were for the Levites, okay? Let's get that in Ezekiel 42 and 13. I believe it's verse 14. All right, here we go with this. Salakia. It's 13 or 14, okay? So Ezekiel 42, and of course, y'all, if y'all got questions, y'all can ask. See, so I feel like when I set this foundation, you guys will be able to read it and pretty much understand it for yourself. Because it's nothing hard about it. Okay. Outer court, I just seen that, so I thought I should say something. Outer court is referred to as outer court as well. Okay. Other court is referred to as outer court as well. So, let me stay on task. Verse 13, Ezekiel 42 and 13. Then said he unto me, the north chambers and the south chambers, which are before the separate place, they be holy chambers, where the priests that approach unto the Lord shall eat the most holy things. There shall they lay the most holy things, and the meat offering, and the sin offering, and the trespass offering, for the place is holy. Let's get one more. Okay. Showing you the chambers are for priests, and the chambers goes into designations for the priests. What's 2 Kings 6? Okay, let's get 2 Kings 6. 5. What is it? 2 Kings 6 and is this it? 2 Kings chapter 6 and verse. Hold on. 2 Kings 6 and verse 5. 2 Kings chapter 6 and verse. Hold on. 2 Kings chapter 6 and verse. 5. 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 2 Nope, it's First Kings. Salakia. Salakia, family. First Kings 6 and 5. Salakia. Okay, First Kings 6 and 5. And it reads, First Kings 6 and 5. And against the wall of the house, he built chambers. Now, it's talking about Solomon. And against the wall of the house, he built chambers round about, against the walls of the house round about, both of the temple and the oracle, and he made chambers round about. Now, this is talking about Solomon's temple, but I'm just showing those chambers, even theologically. Man, I've done extensive research on these things, man. And I'm not saying that because I know some of us go and look at pulpit commentary from the white man and believe them. I'm just showing you guys. I say that to denote the passion behind these things and how what I'm saying is definitive, family. Even scholars agree that those chambers would have had to be. And I just say why I'm referencing them is because it doesn't state that. But this is where theology come in, and this is where knowing the Bible comes in. Okay, those chambers, and how do we know that? Because the chambers that's for the priests. I mean, that's just common sense, precept on precept. That's why I tell brother, learning doctrine. Some brothers be lost about questions that if they knew the doctrine, they wouldn't be lost about. This is a perfect example of that. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, the chambers would have had to been for the priests. Okay, and against the wall of the house, he built chambers round about, and against the walls, the house round about, both of the temple and the oracle, he made chambers round about. And you know the roundabout is north, south, east, and west. And that's in the scriptures. And we go reference that. Okay. Let's go back to Ezekiel 40. Now, Salakia family, for my little rough take in the beginning. It is currently 8:17 in the morning. I'm sleep deprived, as always. Salakia, let's go back to Ezekiel. And I'm going to pull that diagram up in a minute for visuals. Okay. So Ezekiel 40, what verse we was on? 6? 7. Verse 8. He measured also the porch of the gate within one reed. Okay. 6 cubits. Okay. Then measured the porch of the gate 8 cubits, and the post thereof 2 cubits, and the porch of the gate was inward. Okay, so 8 cubits is, let me see, hold on, 144 inches, 144,000. Okay, man, you can't tell me that ain't spiritual. Or 12 feet. Okay. And one reed, of course, is 6 cubits. Okay, verse 10. And the little chambers of the gate eastward were 3 on the side and 3 on that side. There were 3 of one measure, and the post had one measure on this side and on that side. So when it's saying the 3 were of one measure, all 3 were the same measurements. Why is it emphasizing in 3? You think it's a coincidence? It's just saying, oh yeah, and the 3 was one measure. No, it's emphasizing showing how everything was in pristine order and detail, all the way down to measurements. See, it's some words and some sentences we'll read and we'll think they're so minuscule and we don't know how significant it is. These things are significant. Okay? I said I was going to go to 12 because I don't want to be too long. And of course, if anybody have questions, y'all can ask questions. Y'all already know that. I encourage y'all to ask questions. Let me show real quick that the outer courts would be for the Gentiles. Okay. But it's not conclusive of the Gentiles. Okay. Revelations 11 and what is it? 1 or 2? Verse 2. Revelation 11 and 2. But the court which is without the temple, leave out and measure it not. Why? For it is given unto the Gentiles. And the holy city shall tread under the foot 42 months. So the scriptures say that the outer courts were for the Gentiles. Okay? That's clear in the scriptures. Okay, let's go back to Ezekiel 40 real quick. And this is not meant to be a long, in-depth class. Okay. I want brothers and sisters to ask questions. That's why I do these little short, little snippet class where brothers can ask more questions. And it works. It works. Brothers ask questions. Okay. So let me just reread verse 10 again. And what we at with time? We'll go ahead and close out. And the little chambers of the gate eastward were 3 on his side and 3 on that side. They were 3 of one measure. And the posts had one measure on the side and on that side. The posts are talking about the pillars. The pillars. Okay. Or I think now in construction terms, we call them columns. But more in ancient culture, we call them pillars. But now we'll call them columns. Like, for example, I seen a daycare and the building and the columns that was holding it up was made out of crayons, family. It was cool. Like the columns, like the pillars that was holding up the building was made out of crayons. Those would be pillars, but then, we would call them columns. You know what I mean? The same thing in the scriptures. Okay. Those are those pretty much. I mean, I don't see concerning the temple and the courts and the chambers and all that. It's not too much because the really thing to understand is wordplay. What some of the words in this eschatological prophecies mean. That's really much all you need to understand it. It's not hard. All you have to do is read, and if you have questions, answer questions. Now again, this thing goes into like 6-7 chapters. I just told y'all I did a whole class with a brother on the phone. I didn't even plan on that. He just called asking questions, and he ended up having question after question, and I had to give him answer after answer. And we ended up being on the phone for an hour. And that's usually how stuff like that play out. I can't tell you not one time a brother called me and asked a question, and we went on the phone for hours. Maybe one time he asked a question, and the conversation went out for about 30, 40 minutes with Bible scriptures and all that. But most of the time, family, I swear to the Father, every time people come, we end up being on the phone for 3, 4, 5 hours and going into all other things. Because brothers be hungry for the word. And it just leads them to asking other things. Okay. But I feel like I gave pretty much a fair foundation for that. If brothers have questions, of course you can ask. I want to give call halal to Yahweh Shem Yahweh shall we do so in his beloved son, who the world illy calls Jesus Christ. And let me say this. Sometimes, and I do this for my brothers, and I do this for naysayers as well. Sometimes I might set stuff up on purpose. I do it in debates as well. Like to make brothers inquire questions. Some people I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I do that to bait brothers in so I can cut their heads off with the scriptures. And sometimes I do that so brothers can ask questions and get edified. It's really a fair. I do it for both reasons, and it works. But I think a lot of people figured that out about me. Some people figured that out about me, so they don't really play into it no more because they already know. They already know what I'm doing. Nevertheless, I'm gonna give call halal to Yahweh Shem Yahweh shall we do so in his beloved son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Oh, let me get one more scripture real quick. Hold on, y'all. Let me get one more scripture. I forgot. There's one more scripture I wanted to bring out. Okay. Let's get Leviticus chapter 10. This just popped in my mind, y'all. So I gotta get it. It just popped in my spirit. So I gotta get it. Leviticus 10 and Hold on. Where is it? Okay. Let's get. Okay, yeah, this is one I just wanted to give y'all for a precept. Leviticus 10 and 10. Precept this with Ezekiel 44 and 23 and Leviticus 11 and 47. Leviticus 10 and 10, Leviticus 11 and 47, Ezekiel 44 and 23. Okay, and ye may put the difference between holy and holy and unholy, and between clean and unclean. Okay, and while we on that note, matter of fact, let me get Ezekiel 44. Let me show y'all one more thing real quick. Oh boy, Ezekiel 44. Is this what I want? 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 Yes, this is what I want. Yes, this is what I want. Okay, I want to show y'all something really quick. Real quick. Also, because I forgot, this is something that y'all should know if y'all read, when y'all read the whole eschatological reference concerning the temple, the eschatological temple. Ezekiel 44 and 2. Prince, when being referred to a prince, in this context, it's referring to priests. Okay, it's referring to priests. Okay, let's read Ezekiel 44 and 2. Then said the Lord unto me, this gate shall be shut, it shall not be open, and no man shall enter in it. Because I'm sure that'll be the next question. No man shall enter by it, because the Lord, the God of Israel, hath enter in by it, therefore it shall be shut. It is for the prince. The prince, he shall sit in to eat bread before the Lord. He shall enter by the way of the porch of the gate. Eat, that will be east. That's where the priest entered, and shall go out the way the same. Yeah, and let me get let's get Numbers. Let me show y'all this real quick. Y'all need to add this too when y'all studying. Man, I'm telling y'all, if y'all take these basic precepts and the basic things that I'm saying, y'all got the breakdown of the eschatological temple. And it's talked about in Revelation, and you'll be able to reference the same thing. That's why I'm just laying the foundation. Okay, I know for me personally, if somebody did that for me, that'd be enough for me. You wouldn't even have to do a whole class. I just take that. Now that's just me, you know. But I hope other brothers do the same thing. Numbers 18. Come on, don't do me like that, man. There we go. Numbers 18. Let's get Numbers 18. And let's get verse. This is important too. I thought about that with the Gentiles being to the outer courts. Okay, let's do verse 4. We'll start at verse 4. Okay. Yeah, well, let's start at verse 3. Numbers 18:3. And they shall keep thy charge, and they shall charge of all the tabernacle. Only they shall not come nigh the vessels of the sanctuary and the altar, that neither they nor ye also die. Charge of the tabernacle of the congregation for all of the service of the tabernacle, and a stranger shall not come nigh unto you. And ye shall keep the charge of the sanctuary and the charge of the altar, that there be no wrath anymore upon the children of Israel. So it's talking about how only the high priest. Well, I think let's finish reading it. It is pretty much explained. And verse 6, and I behold have taken your brethren the Levites from among the children of Israel to you. They are given as a gift for the Lord to do the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. Same thing in the temple. Therefore thou and thy sons with thee shall keep your priest office for everything of the altar and within the veil. Now, priest office goes into priestly duties, and it can also go into the chambers in the eschatological prophecies. Priest office goes into the priestly duties, and it can also go into the eschatological chambers of the priests. Okay, let's continue reading. And within the veil, and I'm going to show you something with that veil. And ye shall serve, I have given, in correlation to what I'm saying, they have given your priest office unto you as a service of gift, and the stranger that cometh nigh shall be put to death. And the reason why I say the stranger not should be put to death, because only ordained Levitical high priests could do those things, could come in that altar and do that. Just like in what is it? I believe, what is it? Damn, what is it? I think number 17. The chapter right after this. I think number 17, when Aaron tried to come into the high place, and he couldn't go in there because Aaron was ordained to come in there. It wasn't his place to come in there. Same thing. Okay, and Moses was a Levite, but he wasn't a high priest. That's why. Okay, where I'm at, and within the veil you shall serve. I have given you priest office unto your service of giving. The stranger that cometh nigh shall be put to death. Because you have to be in order. You can't go in there and do things if you're not a priest. Verse 8, and the Lord spake unto Aaron, behold, I also have given thee the charge of mine heave offerings of all the hollow things of the children of Israel. Unto thee have I given them by the reason of the anointing, and to thy sons by an ordinance forever. Now, let me show y'all a precept for that veil. That's very sacred with the priest, man. And I know because we have these Babylonian mindsets, we can't, a lot of us, we say we understand, but people, a lot of us, we don't really understand how we got down in ancient times, man. These things were extremely holy and sacred. A lot of us, especially worldly people, we take things like this light and see. We don't understand the significance in it. Yeah, maybe us in the truth, but in the world, people don't understand the significance with stuff like that. They laugh at us on the street about talking about stuff like this. And that's because they don't know their culture and they don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? Leviticus 16:2. And the Lord said unto Moses, speak unto Aaron thy brother, that he come not at all times into the holy place within the veil before the mercy seat which is upon the ark, that he die not. For I will appear in the cloud upon the mercy seat. So, man, Moses couldn't even go in. It's like it wasn't number 17. It was Leviticus 16. That was the spirit. I went right to it. Not number 17. This is what I was talking about. It's Leviticus 16:2. Okay. Aaron had to go in that thing, man. Moses couldn't go in there. Okay. And Moses was a Levite. Okay. And that also remind me of, let's get one more thing. Let's get Exodus. This is also why Levites would put a bell on other Levites to hear them dinging around in there, make sure they ain't dead, make sure that bell don't stop moving. And I believe in a Kohar, if people don't know, the Kohar is a Jewish mysticism book. I feel like it's like the Talmud on crack. Well, not really, but if you understand my phraseology, I think it says in there about how they had to tie strings and stuff, but that's not Torah. That's not in manuscripts, and that's why the Zohar is known as Jewish mysticism. Mysticism. That's just why, because I don't know where y'all be getting those things from. Okay, y'all not the children of God. Y'all just be making up stuff. I know where y'all get it from, and it don't come from the scriptures. It come from y'all own hearts. Amalek, which is the grandfather Esau, so-called Jewish man, they just be making up stuff. So, Laki, I'm getting off track. What is it, verse 33? But man, I be them damn Jewish books, man. Whew. Exodus 28 and 33. And beneath upon the hem of it, thou shalt make pomegranates of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet, round about the hem thereof, and bells of the gold between them round about. A golden bell and a pomegranate, and a golden bell and a pomegranate upon the hem of the robe round about. And it shall be upon Aaron to minister, and his sound shall be heard when he goeth unto the holy place before the Lord, and when he cometh out, that he die not. Those things were serious, because if you was wicked, you would drop dead back then, man. See, this is what I'm talking about when I say people don't understand the significance in our culture. And I know, because they robbed us of it. I understand. But, a lot of us, we don't want to understand it. Y'all need to come out of all these doctrines. For like, we're not Egyptians. We're not Kemetic. Okay? Because that's the main thing that's going around with our people. Our people want to be Egyptians so bad. Y'all not, dude, you realize Egyptians come from Ham. Y'all want to be Hamites that bad? But see, people don't notice that's in the world. They don't know this. And some do, they don't care. Because they think it's something to profit with being a Hamite and being no. Brother, the Lord said he killing the Lord said he's killing Egyptians. And Canaanites not even going to be able to come into the temple. So you want to be an Egyptian, but a lot of them don't believe in the Bible. They believe in Kemet and the 7 laws of Ma'at and all that foolishness. Okay, Salakia family. That's all I have for right now concerning that. Questions, comments, and concerns, of course, you can leave it. You'll get precepts and scholarly sources to substantiate anything and everything I ever say. Everybody already know that. I want to give call halal to Yahweh How shall we do so in his beloved son, who the world Italy calls Jesus Christ. Until next time, family. Shalom.